Rocket ship has left the building, as we always say. And once again, for those of you just joining, thank you so much for spending some quality time this Saturday evening, afternoon, or Sunday morning for some of you around the world. Congratulations, guys. You're one of the very few people globally that's learning how to maximize your digital currency knowledge. Now, obviously, last week we discussed a lot about ICOs and how you can take advantage of ICOs. We even gave you examples of some very powerful ICOs in the past that people just like you and me took advantage of and turned $10,000 investments into $1.5 million. Now, will that happen with every single ICO? Of course not, guys. But if you can find the right technology and the right teams around the world and obviously put your money in these companies early, it's just like if people have securities, right, guys? Like if you go and look at Google, Amazon, Netflix, Caterpillar, Under Armour, list goes on and on and on. You know, many of the people that made a ton of money in the securities field was just because they did their due diligence, right? At the end of the day, what we do, this is not trading advice, because at the end of the day, we are dealing with unregistered and unregulated securities. So we always tell everybody, hey, look, we educate you so you can make a sound decision, right? But you still have to go and talk to whoever is your securities expert, whoever is your insurance expert, whoever's your tax advisor, because we want you not to be using money that you need, like for your children's meals, clothing, etc. You can make a ton of money, guys. It doesn't take thousands and thousands of dollars. As long as you're getting the proper education, you can make a lot of money with just a little bit of Bitcoin being invested every single week. The thing is, one of the greatest things, I just got a great question on my mobile device. Somebody said, hey, do I need to go buy a Bitcoin? That pops up a lot, guys. Don't forget that when you're trading, like in the future, after you get all this crypto training, the majority of people globally don't just go buy like a full Bitcoin. They buy fractions of a Bitcoin. So as an example, let's say that today you set up a wallet, right? And you want to go buy $20 of Bitcoin, $50 of Bitcoin. You can do that. You don't have to go in and buy thousands upon thousands of dollars of Bitcoin. I tell people this because they're asking me consistently about, you know, where we're putting our money in. And I tell them, join our trainings. Many of the alternative coins that you see us talk about, that's where my company's putting their money in, right? Because we see their technology, we look at their GitHubs, review their white papers, talk with their, chief technical officers. So we know if a company's good or bad. But guys, one of the things you got to understand is it's just like a bar of gold. It's kind of like a bar of gold, because at the end of the day, when somebody goes and puts their money into precious metals, they don't go buy a $50,000 bar of gold, right? They go and they buy ounces, fractions, kind of like Bitcoin. You can buy Satoshis. Let's say you want to buy $10, $20. And that's really the science behind the trainings that we're going to evolve for you, is we want you to get in the right mindset so that you don't make mistakes, right? The perfect thing is you're learning from experts that have done this for years. So we've made a lot of mistakes. I mean, I was part of Mt. Gox, and I'm part of that bankruptcy that they're having. Right now, when we go over this market cap, you're going to see part of the reason that many coins are so volatile right now is because Mt. Gox is dumping a ton of Bitcoins for their bankruptcy proceedings. So the reason why people like me that were members of Mt. Gox are kind of excited but kind of not, some of us are getting a little bit of money back, but at the same time, some of us that trade frequently are a little bit upset because they're skewing the market, right? But at the end of the day, we know that Bitcoin is a core coin. So when we talk about core coins, we talk about Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ether, Ripple, and now I'm even adding Neo, because the Chinese are trying to make Neo the Chinese Ethereum. So those are very safe technologies, guys. They're going to be around for a long time to provide massive value to people globally. But today, before we get into the training, what I want to do is I want to go over the market cap with you so you can understand some of these technologies, right? I want you to start learning more about what these technologies are, what they do, and why people are putting so much money into them, even in a massive retracement, right? Because at the end of the day, at one point, we were almost at $1 trillion in market cap. And obviously, there's been a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt by the media, by governments. But remember, guys, when we talk about the alpha, when we're talking about Bitcoin, it's not going to go anywhere. It's based on mathematics, and it's deflationary currency. So when you have something that's finite, right, only 21 million Bitcoins will ever be produced, guess what? You keep increasing the demand, but the supply is finite. That's exponential price increase no matter what the banks do, no matter what governments do. no matter what institutional money does, Bitcoin will keep going forever, guys, because unless we don't have the internet, right? But if we don't have the internet, then we don't have banks. We don't have anything else. So let's go over the cryptoverse real quick so we can get into the training, because I'm super excited to teach about blockchain today, because a lot of people, we're building foundations so you can understand why we are so excited about digital currency and blockchain. So if you look at your screen, and for all of you that just joined, can everybody see my screen? Because I see a lot of new names that just popped up. Ray, Joey, John, Jeanette, somebody tell me you can see the screen real quick. I just saw a bunch of people just pop up. I see it? Okay, thanks, John. Thank you, Paul. All right, let's get going. Woo! I'm excited today, guys. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's St. Patty's Day. Maybe it's because I'm going to go drink a green beer after this. I'll drink one for each one of the attendees. Oh, that's way too many. Anyway. What are the handouts? Oh, good question, Paul. So before we get started, the handouts, these are trainings that we've done in the past, guys. No worries. I know you got here just a little late, Paul. No worries. So like these are little snippets of the trainings we've done for the Golem Network and for PCAR Coin, just so you can see what we see, right? The value in what they're going to be doing for the next couple of years, next couple of decades. So yeah, Paul, it's okay you got here late, brother. No worries, man. So you can download those and review those. It's going to show you these are alternative coins that we feel have massive upside moving forward. So anytime we do these trainings, guys, we record them, but we also will put together, PowerPoints so that you can review them. Does that make sense, Paul? Okay, great. Perfect. You see, guys, at the end of the day, Paul's asking questions. He's activated. He's excited. I mean, pretty much everybody that's in this training right now will have a really bright future over the next couple of years, because you're going to be learning from experts, guys. All right. So right now, around the world, ladies and gentlemen, we have 1,564 digital currencies being bought and sold. Now, the market cap is down to 305 billion, and the 24-hour volume is 10.7 billion. Now, Bitcoin's dominance is at 43.3, because obviously people are dumping alts right now, trying to get back into Bitcoin. Now, one thing I'll tell you guys, remember, one of the main reasons that much of this retracement is occurring is because of Mt. Gox. So for those of you that remember the story, or many of you that feel my pain right now, both ways, because remember, we're still going to get a little bit of money from the bankruptcy proceedings for Mt. Gox. For those of us that were members that had accounts with them, Mt. Gox was one of the very first exchanges, guys, when we got started. And then they had a lot of problems and they went through bankruptcy, right? So many people lost a lot of money. Many people lost a lot of digital currency, but it taught us how to not keep money on exchanges. There's so many lessons you learn in this digital currency ecosphere, guys, and this is why we're trying to teach you all the things that we did wrong so you don't do them, right? But when we talk about the alpha, the granddaddy of them all, it's still at $132 billion in market cap. There's going to be a little picture that you're going to see in a little while, and I'm going to pull this up so you can see Ethereum and Bitcoin, the market caps, compared to when we did this training, a few months ago, a few years ago. But Bitcoin is at $7,812.82. And remember, guys, Bitcoin is based on mathematics. So at the end of the day, no bank owns it. No government can really control it. China tried to kill it. They couldn't do it. So now they're trying to figure out how they can rewrite their laws, because they know Bitcoin's going to be around for a long, long time. Ethereum comes in number 2, $54 billion in market cap. It got to that market cap a lot faster than Bitcoin, guys. It's based on a smart contract blockchain technology that's phenomenal, being bought and sold at $552.66. Now, obviously, Bitcoin was over $1,200 at one point over the last couple months, but we're not worried, guys, because we know that this technology is going to change the way we do business, decentralized apps. There's so many use cases for Ethereum, guys. That's why we call it a core coin. And at number 3, Ripple. Ripple has a $24 billion market cap, being bought and sold at 62 cents per Ripple. At their peak, they almost hit $4, and many people made over 5,800% for those that got in on the ICO for Ripple, guys, a few years ago. Now, remember this, Ripple is going to help commercial banks with remittance, sending money globally, right? Basically, they're going to speed up the way people send money. As an example, let's say that right now Japan has set up a payment rail with Thailand. If you sent a wire right now, it would be faster, cheaper, more secure because of RippleNet. So very first time in history that we will be able to make money off the backs of banks. So this is why we consider Ripple a good play long term, because we know that banks aren't going to go away without a fight. Bitcoin Cash comes in at number 4, $15.8 billion market cap, being bought and sold at $930.44. Roger Ver has done a very good job with the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem, obviously trying to make it into a transactional coin. Many companies, many merchants will be accepting this all around the world. So we wish Roger Ver the best of luck. At number 5, my homeboy, Charlie Lee. I mean, this guy is a genius. I think he's an android. But Charlie Lee has a phenomenal development team, guys. This is one, I'll tell you right now, this is one of the most undervalued coin in the entire cryptoverse. And it's coming in at $8.4 billion, being bought and sold at $151.06. And later on this year, when it hits 500, 1,000, you'll thank me because I guided you towards the coin that's going to help us with congestion, with the Lightning Network, and with cross-chain atomic swaps, decentralizing exchanges in the future, guys. Litecoin has phenomenal tech coming over the next couple of months. Cardano comes in number 6, $4 billion in market cap, being bought and sold at 15.5 cents. Cardano is a platform, guys, where people can build on top of their layer. Very scientific in their approach, very good development team. We wish them much luck, and obviously they're going to change the world just like Ethereum's changing the world. Number 7, the Chinese Ethereum. It's called NEO, $3.9 billion in market cap, being bought and sold at $61.19. Again, think about this, guys. If we know that Ethereum has skyrocketed to up to $1,200 before the retracement, and the Chinese have a ton of money, right? And Asia is a mature market for cryptocurrency. This is why I tell people, this is a core coin for us now because we've done the research. We've gone to their events. They have a lot of influence over the government. And obviously the government, all the Chinese people want to turn this into something as big, if not bigger than Ethereum. So all those things lead to a core coin now. Now we have 5. And then we go into number 8, Stellar. Stellar, $3.7 billion in market cap, being bought and sold at 20 cents, guys, per Stellar token. Stellar is a transactional coin. Obviously, their transactions per second is phenomenal, guys. 6,000 TPS, and one of the fastest. It's a fork of Ripple. They have a executive, a cPanel guy that came over from Ripple, but they're going to do very well in the future because obviously they're trying to further the TPS, the transactions per second. To give you an example, Visa's at about 40,000 transactions per second. Once we get the Lightning Network in place, once we get Raiden for Ethereum, we feel that we will be on par with Visa, if not greater than Visa, and that's going to be a phenomenal time in digital currency history. Number 9 comes in, it's EOS, $3.3 billion market cap, being bought and sold at 4.61 cents, $4.61. And EOS is another platform, guys, where people are going to be able to come in and program in different languages. Obviously, they have a phenomenal team, one of the largest ICOs ever. Number 10, Monero. Now, Monero comes in at $3 billion in market cap, being bought and sold at $193.90. Now, coins like Monero, Dash, and Verge, guys, are going to do very well here in the very near future because they have an anonymity function. You know, not everybody likes having all their information all over the interwebs, if you will. So this is why anonymous coins will do very, very well moving into 2019 and 2020. The reason why I say that is because many of our people that are on this webinar don't like having all their information for the world to know, all over. So this is why I tell people those coins are pretty solid in their technology, but they're going to help. They're going to help solve the fact that, many of the other, like I tell people, Bitcoin, you're not anonymous. They can track you with all your transactions, which is good because it's an open public ledger, right? When we talk about the blockchain. So this provides a lot of value to those people that don't like that part of the blockchain. And we'll see how it goes. But look at all this red, guys. It looks like somebody's getting murdered over here. Literally, this is why we're in such a bearish market, but we're about to break out of this with a fury. All right, let's get into the training. So today, you're going to learn about what is blockchain. Because, again, we have a lot of new people, so we're trying to give them a foundation so they can get excited and see why we get so excited, right? People tell me, why are you so passionate about Bitcoin? And I told them, I'm passionate about blockchain. Bitcoin is a function of blockchain, right? It's a currency, just like email is a function of the internet. So to me, the blockchain, guys, is really what's exciting because I know that Bitcoin is going to be around forever, or at least until the internet goes away. Because at the end of the day, blockchain is really what underpins it. This is the technology that's going to change the world. Now, all of a sudden, blockchain is everywhere, right? The technology which was invented in 2008 to power Bitcoin when it launched a year later is being used for everything from copyright protection to sexual consent, yes, really, to real estate, to tokenization of assets. Literally, guys, blockchain is phenomenal. Now, considering the daily churn of news around blockchain, not to mention the skyrocketing value of blockchain and other cryptocurrencies that rely on the technology, you may be wondering what the hell blockchain actually is. It's actually a pretty simple concept, though things quickly get more complicated the harder you look. With this in mind, here are a few different ways to wrap your head around blockchain, from straightforward definitions to far-reaching metaphors. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do today is I want you to understand blockchain at a level that I do, but I'm going to give you some examples that you will never forget, and you'll kind of go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because once you understand how powerful blockchain is, then you'll see why many of us are moving away from putting so much money in securities, precious metals, real estate, why many people globally are now really starting to look into digital currency. So how does blockchain work? To start, here's the simplest explanation with no metaphors or hyperbole. In the language of cryptocurrency, a block is a record of new transactions. That could mean the location of cryptocurrency or medical data or even voting records. I'll repeat that because that's pretty powerful. That could mean the location of cryptocurrency or medical data or even voting records. Once each block is completed, it's added to the chain, creating a chain of blocks, a blockchain, okay? Because cryptocurrencies are encrypted, processing any transactions means solving complicated math problems, and these math problems become more difficult over time as the blockchain grows. People who solve these equations are rewarded with cryptocurrency in a process called mining. So now, if you own any cryptocurrency, what you really have is a private key, basically just a long password to its address on the blockchain. With this key, you can withdraw currency to spend, but if you lose the key, there's no way to get your money back. Each account also has a public key, which lets other people and cryptocurrencies, other people send cryptocurrency to your account. Now, as an example, guys, like let's say if I sent you $50 right now in Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ether or Monero or whatever, right? I would send it to your public key. Because remember, you don't want to ever show anybody your private key. That's your key. But the public key is what you would send to me if you want $50 in Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ether, Monero, etc. And that's something that a lot of people get a little bit confused about. I've had people in the past show other people their private keys thinking it was a public key, and then they got hacked. So this is what I want you to learn, that you don't do that. So information on the blockchain is also publicly available. It's decentralized, meaning it doesn't rely on a single computer or server to function. So any transactions are instantly visible to everyone. That brings us to our first metaphor, the public ledger. Okay, blockchain is like a public ledger. If you send Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency to a friend or sell it, that information is publicly available on the blockchain. Other people may not know your identity, but they know exactly how much value has been transferred from one person to another. Now, many people see blockchain as an alternative to traditional banking. Instead of needing a bank or some other institution to verify the transfer of money, you can use blockchain and eliminate the middleman. Let's talk about the internet of value, right? Because the first internet was the internet of information. Now with Bitcoin and blockchain, we're talking about the internet of value. So building off the idea of a public ledger, another popular way to describe blockchain is as the internet of value. The idea is pretty simple. The internet made it possible to freely distribute data online. Blockchain does the same thing for money. Instead of relying on newspapers, television, and radio, which are mainly controlled by big corporations, the internet gives everyone a voice, for better or for worse, because we've seen it both, right, guys? Blockchain and cryptocurrency make it just as easy to transfer money across the world by bypassing traditional middlemen like banks and even governments. This is why people love digital currency, guys. You don't have to ask a bank for permission, right? Blockchain is like Google Docs. Here's a clever metaphor for blockchain from William Mugayar, the author of The Business Blockchain. So blockchain is like Google Docs. Before Google Docs, if you wanted to collaborate on a piece of writing with someone online, you had to create a Microsoft Word document, send it to them, and then ask them to edit it. Then you had to wait until they made those changes, save the document, and send it back to you. Now, Google Docs fixed that by making it possible for multiple people to view and edit a document at the same time. However, most databases today still work like Microsoft Word. Only one person can make changes at a time, locking everyone else out until they're done. Blockchain fixes that by instantly updating any changes for everyone to see. For banking, that means that any money transfers are simultaneously verified on both ends. Now, blockchain could also be used in the legal business or architecture planning, really any business where people need to collaborate on documents. So let me give you another example. Blockchain is like a row of safes. Here's another useful explanation from online forum Bitcoin Talk. This one does a really good job of explaining how public and private keys work. Imagine there are a bunch of safes lined up in a giant room somewhere. Each safe has a number on it identifying it, and each safe has a slot that allows people to drop money into it. The safes are made of bulletproof glass, so anyone can see how much is in any given safe, and anybody can put money in any safe. When you open a Bitcoin account, you are given an empty safe and the key to that safe. You take note of which number is on your safe, and when somebody wants to send you money, you tell them which safe is yours, and they can go drop money in the slot. I like that example, guys, because it makes so much sense to many of us because we know banks and safes, right? A lot of us have safes. So finally, let me give you one more because this one will really resonate with many of us because all of us have DNA, right? Blockchain is like DNA. Finally, this one from Robin Shahan on Medium is a little far out, but we like it. Blockchain is a record of transactions spreading across the internet as more people use cryptocurrencies. Similarly, DNA is a record of genetic transactions and mutations that spread as life expanded across the earth. Both become more complicated over time as our DNA evolves and new blocks are added to the blockchain. Each blockchain, whether it's Bitcoin, Ether, Ripple, is like a distinct species, human, chimpanzee, etc. A blockchain can also be forked, like with Bitcoin Cash, to create a competing currency in the same way that two distinct species can share common ancestors. Of course, changes to DNA don't happen easily. Scientists believe it takes about 1 million years for a genetic mutation to catch on, and building a blockchain isn't easy either. The process of evolution and natural selection is a little bit like mining, a complicated series of steps that create something incredible. So literally, guys, that's what I want you to really understand about blockchain. I'm going to give you a little beginner's guide to Ethereum also, because at the end of the day, I want your knowledge base to be so phenomenal that you take advantage of this digital gold rush that's occurring. So a beginner's guide to Ethereum. What is Ethereum? According to the Ethereum website, Ethereum is a decentralized platform that runs smart contracts. This is an accurate summary, but in my experience, when first explaining Ethereum to friends, family, and strangers, it helps to compare Ethereum to Bitcoin, since a lot of people have at least heard about Bitcoin before. Now, the beginner's guide should help those who are new to Ethereum to understand the high-level differences between the two. And here we go. So check this out, guys. The concept, Bitcoin, digital money, Ethereum, smart contracts, transaction, you send it from Alice to Bob, right? And then here it says send from Alice to Bob if data equals January 1st, 2018. Bob's balance is less than 10 Ether. Market cap. I'm going to show you something so powerful right now. This is why we're excited. Market cap as of February 2017. Obviously, it's a year later, right? 18 billion for Bitcoin, 1 billion for Ethereum. Remember this number real quick. Let me show you this. This is crazy. Look at these numbers now. 132 billion and 54 billion. Ridiculous in a little less than a year, guys. 132 billion, 54. So remember those numbers. What do you see here? 18 and 1. This is why we are super jacked out of our minds when we talk about digital currency, because we see it's the future. Founder, Satoshi Nakamoto, unknown. We don't know if it's a guy, a girl, a group of people. Vitalik Buterin and team. Release date, January 2009, July 2015. Release method, early mining. Pre-sale raise, 18 million in Bitcoin. Now the comparison, simply put, Bitcoin can be described as digital money. Bitcoin has been around for 8 years and is used to transfer money from one person to another. It is commonly used as a store of value and has been a critical way for the public to understand the concept of a decentralized digital currency. Now, Ethereum is different than Bitcoin in that it allows for smart contracts, which can be described as highly programmable digital money. Imagine automatically sending money from one person to another, but only when a certain set of conditions are met. For example, an individual wants to purchase a home from another person. Traditionally, there are multiple third parties involved in the exchange, including lawyers and escrow agents, which makes the process unnecessarily slow and expensive. With Ethereum, a piece of code can automatically transfer the homeowner or the home ownership to the buyer and the funds to the seller after the deal is agreed upon without needing a third party to execute on their behalf. And that's already starting to happen, guys. Literally, people are starting to buy property, jewelry, you name it, any kind of commodity. People are starting to use smart contracts and stuff like that. Now, the potential for this is incredible. Think of the numerous applications that act as a third party to connect you with others based on some set of logic. As an example, many of us use Uber, right? Airbnb, eBay. Many of the centralized systems we use today could be built in a decentralized manner on Ethereum. With Ethereum, you can make these transactions trustless, which opens up an entire world of decentralized applications. Decentralization is important because it eliminates single points of failure or control. This makes internal collusion and external attacks impractical. Decentralized platforms cut out the middlemen, which ultimately leads to lower costs for the user. There are a few decentralized applications I am particularly excited about, and check this out. Identity. There are many websites a person can create a digital identity, as an example, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? This is cumbersome to manage, and at the end of the day, you are not in full control of your information as it is still owned by a centralized entity. With Ethereum, you can have a decentralized identity management system like Uport that allows you to be in full control of your data. There's no centralized server that has access to your private data, can get hacked, edit your information, or get shut down. Right now in the U.S., we have credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax that other institutions like banks rely on to tell them your credit. Credit bureaus can put certain groups, such as international and young people, at a disadvantage. Now, Lending Club, a peer-to-peer lending platform, addresses the problem of traditional financial services relying solely on FICO scores by offering additional data points like home ownership, income, and length of employment. Ethereum applications like Uport can go one step further by allowing you to control your own data, identity, and reputation. Now, computing power and storage. Consider all of the spare computing power and storage a regular person might have on their computer right now, ladies and gentlemen. All of you, basically. Think about all the excess power that you don't use every single week and all the storage you don't use every single week. If it is not being used, then why not make it available to someone else? It is a similar concept to renting out a spare bedroom on Airbnb. An added benefit to using a decentralized application is that there are no centralized servers that are prone to censorship. So there are several projects in development to allow people to rent spare computing power and storage from those that have it. Filecoin allows people to rent out their computer storage to others and get paid for it, as does Coin, which in the handouts you can read more about Coin, guys. Similarly, Golem allows people to rent out their computing power. Ideas like these are not completely new. Since 2000, Folding at Home has allowed volunteers to contribute spare computing power for scientific research at Stanford University. Now, this concept can be monetized and applied to other industries, potentially lowering costs. Many of you guys, if you know about SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, they do the same thing, guys. They pool all the computing power and they study all the radiographs, like radio waves from outer space. It's pretty cool. I mean, think about how much computing power globally is not used every single day and every single week. Let's talk about social media. Akasha is a decentralized social media platform. There are no centralized servers, so no single party has complete control over the content. This means that the platform is resistant to censorship. An added benefit of building a decentralized application for social media on Ethereum is that one can create a system that financially rewards high-quality content. This is like Reddit, but you can send small amounts of money to the poster instead of upvotes. Now let's talk about rights management. So decentralized applications may be used to bring transparency to multiple industries. For example, Singular DTV offers an entertainment rights management platform which allows transparent distribution of funds to the creators, investors, crew, actors, and others involved in a project. There's no centralized party which can prevent a certain group from getting access to their funds because the terms are enforced by code. Everyone will get paid according to the terms discussed up front, and no third party is needed to mediate. Also, guys, we're working on a project called Dionysus.studio. And if you go to Dionysus.studio, you'll see right now we're trying to democratize how movies are made in Hollywood. And it is a phenomenal project that Tom DeSanto, the executive producer from Transformers, X-Men, and Battlestar Galactica, is one of our founding partners. We have Luke Daniels, which represents Johnny Depp, Keanu Reeves, Denzel Washington, Al Pacino. He's another one of our founding partners. Max Decker, and another A-list actor that you would probably know from many movies. You know, he drives a muscle car and he's like a hitman. He might be coming on board. But literally, we'll be in Cannes in May. We'll be doing a roundtable on how blockchain is going to change the way movies get made for decades to come. And you're hearing it here first. So let's talk about managing companies. A time-consuming and often expensive aspect of starting a new company is allocating and managing shares. As companies grow and raise more funds, they eventually need to issue and move shares around. Aragon is an example of a promising project that has an easy-to-use interface for managing the company's cap table and raising capital. So let's talk about raising capital. Lastly, one of the major use cases of Ethereum is decentralized fundraising from a global network of investors. Crowd sales lower the barrier to entry for developers working on high-risk projects. Since Ethereum launched in July 2015, we have seen unprecedented amounts of funds raised for decentralized applications through crowd sales. Ethereum itself was funded through a crowd sale that raised 18 million Bitcoin, and a project called the DAO raised 160 million. Guys, some other notable crowd sales are shown below. Augur, 5.3 million. Digix DAO, 5.5. First Blood, 6. And these are all million. Singular DTV, 7.5. Golem, 8.6. Melonport, 2.5. Guys, Filecoin raised over 200 million. Tezos, Dragon, one of our other projects, has raised $500 million. Telegram has raised 850 million, guys. So literally, people are raising a crazy amount of money in crowd sales. But the reason why ICOs are so popular is because they're disrupting technology, right? They're disrupting the world right now, just like Airbnb did, just like Uber did, Amazon. I mean, it is such a disruption, and you are the people that are going to get to take advantage of it the most. So now, for more information in the future, guys, how these tokens work, we're going to do all of these. We're going to have a bunch of different trainings as we go over the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, and you'll be able to have access to every single training. That's the beauty of being a privileged Card Club member or a Bitfunds member. You get trained every single Saturday, plus these video trainings are recorded so that you can share them with the world and also share them with your teams, because we want you and your loved ones making sure you take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth we will ever see in our entire lifetimes, guys. That's right. When I say 5, 10, 15 years from now, some of you that have young kids or are about to have children, and they ask you, Mom, Dad, you know, where were you when Bitcoin first came out, or Ethereum, or Ripple, or Golem, or Sia Coin? And you say, well, you know, I got on some trainings, but I didn't pull the trigger. You're going to remember these trainings, guys, because we have a lot of people making money, and all they're doing is getting educated. Now, the beautiful thing is that many of you right now have the ability to go and review the trainings on the YouTube channels. So we recommend that that you take advantage of the fact that these are recorded and they're meant for you, right? Like, we don't do these just because we want to talk. We do these because we want to change your life. We want to make sure that you never have to worry about, how your kids are going to go to college. We want you to never have to worry about how you're going to get a new vehicle, how you're going to take that vacation, how you're going to retire. This is why we do this, guys. Andy Wall, Raymond Fulmer, myself, the reason why we do these trainings or why we put these technologies together is because we love you, we care about you, and we know that if you get the right kind of education, your life will change. But not only your life, you will infect other people with your enthusiasm and with your energy, and you'll change other families forever, guys. Not just the ones that are living right now, but the future generations. So it's pretty powerful, right? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much. The final thing I just want to show you is we're going to have some resources for you. And on this, you can just see, understanding Ethereum, we're going to have a bunch of different resources. Obviously, you can keep up with Ethereum on their subreddit. the Control, Smith & Crown, DAP Daily. But as we continue your training, you literally will have a PhD in digital currency, and obviously now blockchain. You're starting to get blockchain a little better. So we thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for spending some quality time. Now, don't forget that it is St. Patty's Day. How many of you are going to go drink a green beer like I am after this training? Because you deserve it. Jonathan Smelko, good to see you, my brother. No worries, man. Thank you for joining. Paul McNulty, thank you. Or Paul Nolte. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you very much, Paul, for being on here. And Ray, John, all you guys, Joey, thank you so much. Here, let me give a shout out to the people that are always on here. That way you can share that with your teams. And let me see. I'm going to throw some shout outs out. What's up, Adrian? And obviously Anthony McCormick. That's my homeboy. He's always on these. Charles, Christopher Buckley. What's up, Chris Buckley? That guy's kind of a tech genius, I hear. Colin Morris, Deborah Johnson, Dennis, Elizabeth, Thea, Fiona, Gary B, and Gary G. See, we got Jerry Delaney, Jackie Green, Jacqueline Nicholson, James B, always in the house, Jeanette Macer, Joey Frizzicano, I love that Italian name, Johanna Williams, John McAvoy, John Boone, Jonathan Smelko, my other homeboy, love that kid, Joshua, Kieran, Liz, Major, what's up, Major, Paul Nolte, Big Ray, Fulmer, Richard Powell, Sandy Turley, Sean Cronin, Tony Perrin, Victoria 80, Wesley Nutt. Guys, thank y'all so much from the bottom of my heart. It makes me glow to know that all of you are going to do so well with digital currency, the Privileged Card Club, Bitfunds, and many other things that you decide to do in 2018. Have a beautiful weekend. We'll see you again next Saturday, same time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, all our trainings. We record these. We're going to put them on all the YouTube channels for Privileged Card Club, Bitfunza. Don't forget that the event in London, in the UK, I'll be flying in early. I'll be there on Wednesday or Thursday, one of those 2 days. So all of you that want to meet with me, learn more about digital currency, obviously we're going to run the ICO for the Privileged Card Club, get there early. Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you're so fired up about what we're going to do with the Privileged Card Club ICO. It's going to be one of the largest ICOs we've ever done because we have so many excited people, not just in the UK, not just in Ireland, not just in the United States, but we have people as far as Argentina. We have people as far as Mexico, Canada, Australia. We've got so many people asking not just about the concept, but also about the initial coin offering. So for all of you that have timing, take advantage of it. But we will see you here in a few days out in the UK for the first Privileged Card Club event. Have a beautiful weekend, and don't forget to drink a green beer for Max. All right, guys.